This is the Gita class, chapter 12, and then sloka is 15. Bhakti Yoga, chapter 12, and then 15th is the sloka. We will do the Mangalacharana prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjalasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manoveeshtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam वंदेहम श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावभूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्ण भगवान की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय। श्लोक नंबर 15 भक्ति योगा। यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको, फर्स्ट डू विद द भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोकः लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो मुक्तो यस्य च मे प्रियः। यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोकः लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यस्य च मे प्रियः। यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोकः लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यस्य च मे प्रियः। Okay, yasmat from whom, na never, udvijate or agitated, lokaha people, lokat from people, na never, udvijate is disturbed, cha also, yaha anyone who, harsha from happiness, amarsha distress, bhaya fear, udvigaihi and anxiety, muktaha freed, yaha who, saha anyone, cha also, me to me, priyaha very dear. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety is very dear to me. Okay, he by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone. So he by whom that bhakta, no one is put into difficulty. No one will be under the difficult situation under his action or presence, and who is not disturbed by anyone. Even if somebody disturbs him, he is not disturbed. Who is equipoised in happiness and distress. Happiness and distress is equal. Fear and anxiety also he is equal. Fear, bhaya, and anxiety, udvegaha. Okay, anxiety is very dear to me. That is the Krishna likes those kind of people. They are called bhaktas. You call it name as Vaishnavas, Shaivas, or Brahmanas, or whatever may be the you name, call it. But this is the another qualification, purport. A few of the devotees' qualifications are further being described. So it started from 13th sloka. 13th and 14th two slokas has a lot of devotees' qualifications. And again 15 is adding more qualifications. So a few of the devotee qualifications are further being described. No one is put into difficulty, anxiety, fearfulness or dissatisfaction by such a devotee. Okay, difficulty, anxiety, fearfulness or dissatisfaction. Since a devotee is kind to everyone, he does not act in such a way as to put others into anxiety. That's why this nowadays in the surprises, so many surprises, and then that will create an anxiety. Okay. Such a devotee is kind to everyone. He does not act in such a way to put others into the anxiety. At the same time, if others try to put a devotee into anxiety, he is not disturbed. Okay? Very tough. It is by the grace of the Lord that he is so practiced that he is not disturbed by any outward disturbance. Actually, because a devotee is always engrossed in Krishna consciousness and engaged in devotional service, such material circumstances cannot move him. Generally, a materialistic person. One second. So, generally, we'll continue. I want to check here one thing. So, then, okay. Where are we? Well, generally, a materialistic person becomes very happy when there is when there is something for his sense gratification and his body. But when he sees that others have something for their sense gratification and he hasn't, he is sorry and envious. When he is expecting some retaliation from an enemy, he is in a state of fear, and when he cannot successfully execute something, he becomes dejected. A devotee who is always transcendental to all these disturbances is very dear to Krishna. So here Prabhupada is saying like between the materialistic person and the transcendentalist person. Transcendental who transcends the three modes or at least tries to transcend, and who is above the body consciousness. These are all mainly the body consciousness. So this measurement itself tells you whether you are in the Krishna consciousness or body consciousness. So long as you are in the body consciousness, you will have all these problems, and then it is very hard to get out from this cycle of birth and death. But you keep on working, and then at one point of time you will get it. That's why in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna asks, right, it's very hard to control the mind, then Bhagavan gives the practice and detachment. Then again Arjuna asks questions that, okay, it is very hard, maybe it takes lifetimes to control the mind. Then in that case, what happens to such a person? Then Krishna says, he gives a biggest security that, he will not be loosened, or he will continue from the whatever the tapasya he did in the previous birth, and he will continue to do that, and he will be encouraged to do that. The circumstances will come in such a way that he will continue, and then eventually he will become, the yogi. That's what he says. So that's why first we need to work on it, and then even if you fail it also, that's fine. You keep on working for it. So until you know it, you cannot work for it. So that's why you have to know this. So basically another qualification is he is not into difficulty, or he is not disturbed by anyone. That's the main thing, is that first of all, when anyone does anything bad to him or anything, he does not take it. Or even if it takes in the initial stages, he thinks that is because of the karma, and the results are given by the Bhagavan Krishna and nothing else. No one else fault. Like a fault finding, no fault finding. And everyone is acting because of our karmas only. That is why we are getting put into difficulty. And we should not put into difficulty the others, because we don't want to add more karmas to that. So we have to get out from this cycle of birth and death. That's why we want to be as nice as possible as per the scriptures, and then don't take into consideration anything. Again, same thing. Equipoised happiness and distress, fear and anxiety. These are the qualifications. These are like a samabhavana, sthita prajna, and then sama, that's what. And that is what it is important, because the happiness and distress to the body is temporary, and then it's all Maya, and it's not even us. It's all the Prakriti is doing that. It's not related to us. Same thing, fear and anxiety also, same thing. What is that? If someone might do something that's a fear, and when he cannot successfully give something, he becomes rejected. Something like that, anxiety. So, very simple sloka, but it has a deep meaning in it. So mainly the qualities. So each and every one of us, we need to develop these qualities. So in the previous sloka, so many qualities mentioned, and in this sloka there is only 2, 3. So who is not into difficulty, is not disturbed anyone, equipoise happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, that's all. And then even Vidya Prakash also same thing. It says like be fearless, and then dvandvas. You need to dvandvas, above dvandvas, Straigunyo, or nirdvandvaha. It's all mentioned in the 5th chapter also. So many places Krishna is keep on explaining, keep on mentioning that. Okay. So all this is possible only when you are not in the body consciousness. Again, going back to our formula, avidya, kama, karma, because of the ignorance, causal body, the kama, the desire to enjoy something happened in the subtle body, and because of that, the karma is doing by the indriyas and the gross body. That is how the cycle is going on. So, first thing is like you need to understand that you are not the body, you are the soul, you are the Sachitananda Swarupa, and you are already Purnam, Purnamada Purnamidam. There is nothing to achieve or anything. Only thing is to remove the wheel of Maya ignorance. That is the only thing we have to do it. For that again, these are the qualities we need to develop. So basically the Bhakta is always thinks Krishna, and then also he thinks that he is a part and parcel of Krishna, and then whatever the Krishna does, it's all up good for him, and also he takes everything as prasadam from the Krishna, and that is how then whatever happens he don't even consider anything. So basically in the previous sloka, right, Adveshta Sarvabhutan, what are the qualifications? Let's say one who is not envious but kind to all living entities, that is number one, is not envy at all, because why for envy? And then everybody is same, and then because of the karmas, this leela is happening. And then who does not think himself a proprietor, that is one thing, is not the one proprietor. And then who is free from false ego, that is the main thing, false ego. Who is equal in both happiness and distress, again same sloka here. And who is tolerant, and who is satisfied, okay, satisfied, and self-controlled, mind, buddhi, all that, and engaged in devotion service with a determination, bhakti, okay, and his mind and intelligence fixed on me with the Bhagavan. That is what. And then in this sloka, he who will not put into difficulty, who is not disturbed anyone. So total is what? 5, 5, 10. And then who is not disturbed, and then equipoise in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety is the 11th one. So you name it, number it, whatever may it is, but these are the qualities. So if you, for example, if you really say only the materialistic persons will have all this, like envy, the false ego, because false ego means what? The real ego doesn't even think anything. The false ego is the only one which borrows the energy from us and then acts like that, and they keep on saying that I achieved this, I achieved this, I'm intelligent, and then it connects with the intelligence, and I can think of lot, that is mind connecting, and indriyas, and again I can see without eyeglasses and all that stuff, I can walk, run, so all that false ego. And who is equal in both happiness and distress, because happiness and distress are all for the body only. Today happiness, whatever the item we eat that gives you pleasure, and then tomorrow as the age grows, the same thing is going to give the distress. That is another thing. And he is tolerant. Because of all this, he is very tolerant. Like titiksha. Sahanam sarvadukhanam apratikarapurakam chinta vilapa rahitam. Because that sahanam, the patience, and then tolerant should be there without even retaliating or anything, because that is one of the quality we need to develop it. And then with that, what happens is you will be cross above the mind level. And always satisfied, that is the main thing. You just be satisfied what you have, and controlling is the main thing. And devotional service, bhakti, is the main. Mayarpita manobuddhi. When you give the Bhagavan the manas and buddhi, then there is no envy, nothing like that, because everything rests in the mind only. And then who is not put in difficulty, not disturbed, and equiposed in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety is very dear to me. So that's all the, that's what. And then mainly a devotee is always transcendental to all these disturbances. So you consider the devotee, I mean, when you call him a devotee means he is transcendental to the body consciousness. So long as we are the body consciousness, we are not actually the devotees, we are the sadhakas. So long as we have the desire to enjoy something in the material nature, we are the body consciousness. And until that time, we are just sadhaka bhaktas, not the pure devotee. That's why Prabhupada always says that pure devotees are the highest, and then the pure devotee understands the Bhagavatam and understands everything very clearly, and that is what it is. And that's why when you chant also, when you do the devotional services, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pad Sevanam, Sakyam, Dashyam, Atma Nivedanam, all those 9 processes, whatever you do, when you are, at the transcendental level, then that will have more impact to that. Otherwise, it will be slowly, but slowly and steadily we will go there, we will achieve that. But remember that spirituality is the Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. That is the main Vidya we all need to learn. Because all the other ones, like Ramakrishna says, Attipallu and then BM Vidya. That's all for food only. All things we work for in the material world, whatever the knowledge we used it, whatever knowledge we acquired, it's all material only. Adhyatma, knowing about ourselves, knowing about the spirit, that is the main aim for us. Shankaracharya says, Jantunam narjanma durlabham atah pumstum tato viprata tasmad vaidika dharma marga parata vidvatvam asmat param atmanatma vivechanam svanubhavo brahmatmana samstitihi muktir no shatakodi janma sukhatev parnye vinalabhyate. So, Jantunam, out of Jantu, Narjanma, Nara is great, and all that he's saying, like, all these are steps to achieve the Bhagavan. So that's what it is. Out of that, be a man, and out of that, be a Brahmin, then be Vedic Samskaras, and after that, first exactly know the Atma, Anatma, Vivechana, and then work towards it and then realize yourselves. So this is like a measurement stick kind of. But whether you are realized or not, these qualities will tell you. And you yourselves can happily measure the success of us. You don't need any other certificate from the others. We know exactly what is our mind is, what are our thoughts are, and then how much progress we are making it. That is very important. So the more spiritual practices you are practicing it, and the more you are very interested and you want to pursue more and more, and you wanted to increase your spiritual that's amount of the time, like pray hard and for a long time, then that means you are actually making the progress. When you are depressed or when you don't want to do that and you wanted to deviate to the material happiness, that means you have again the desire is developing, the Maya is conquering you, and then you will be end up in cycle of birth and death. We all can say, okay, what happens if we desire and what desire fulfills, it is going to be happiness. But in reality, there is no happiness at all. Like Krishna in the 5th chapter says, Yehi samsparsha bhogaha dukkha yone evate adyantavanta kaunteya. So let's say you have the bhogas and then you have unlimited bhogas, let's say. And then you are enjoying, you have the capacity, you are doing that pretty good amount of time, and no failures are happening. But still, Krishna says, there is a Adi and Anta. There is a starting point and there is an ending point for that, for the bhogas, the material. That's why then when there is an ending point, that's where people will get so much depressed. And then so because of that attachment, they get all these anxieties, fears, all this. That's why happiness and distress, don't even take care of it, don't even consider it. See equally, then you will avoid the fear and anxiety also. And then you don't need to put everybody into difficulty. You don't need to think about their wrongdoings or anything. Just think that you are, because of the karma only, they are the instruments. They are not the real cause of your problems. and then your problems are brought by you, by your own karma, and then the only savior is Bhagavan Krishna and no one else. Whether Kamova, Dharma, what is it? Kamova, what is that? Something is there. So if you desire or no desire, or desire for higher spiritual, everything is go to the Bhagavan only. Kamava, Murti Kamava, Kamava. That's what it is basically. When you desire or no desire or desire for the highest, everything is Moksha Kamava. Kamava, Moksha Kamava, Udaradihi. All the thing kamas, you just go to the Krishna only. And then sincerely ask for his help, and then he is going to help you. And then he will give us what is benefit to us. And he may not give us what you are asking for it. Okay? So that is the main thing, everything that goes to Krishna. And then only living entities, you don't need to have envy or anything, or you don't need to worry about anything, and you don't need to think that they are all enjoying and you are not enjoying, or you are enjoying but they are not enjoying. That is not the case. Everything is same. Everybody is like a living entity, and everything is a spiritual. There is oneness of the spirituality, and then all the material bodies are continuously changing, and there is happiness, and everything is continuously happening, but you don't need to worry about, because that is not you. Okay, I'll end up here. Small soka, but keep practicing. There are still 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Another 5 slokas in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhakti Yoga. And they are going to give us the more devotee qualifications, so that we can have measurements. And whenever we have this kind of events happening in the mind, then immediately we can think that, and we can observe that, and we can subside that, thinking that Bhagavan Krishna won't like it if we have this qualification. So try to get rid of this. Okay. And we'll meet in next class. Hare Krishna. Krishna Bhagavan ki Jai. Prabhupada.